Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to an actually requested video. This is going to be a swatch party and today we are going to swatch all of my Lethal Cosmetics eyeshadows. I keep them in their original palettes and these contains 12 eyeshadows each. I have quite a large collection of Lethal Cosmetics eyeshadows. I think I counted them at 53. Something like that. I like their formula. I've done videos and swatch posts on my blog before, but never of my full collection, and I had made an order this summer that I never actually talked about or showed you. So this is a full collection swatch video. You can see my big tripod, that is the overhead tripod that I use to film the swatches for this one. I hope the lighting will be okay because we're horizontal looking from above instead of me showing you on my hand. I thought that would be better for you to see the shadows also in the pans, and yeah, let me know if you like this new format of swatch party, let's say. And yeah, about Lethal Cosmetics, they are an indie brand from Berlin, Germany, and that is what made them initially very attractive to me because they are European. There's no import costs for me from Germany. They have free shipping above 65 euros and they ship internationally. So also in the US you can get a hold of them. They have different retailers all over Europe as well. However, I find that their unit price is cheaper, of course, from their own website. If you buy it from a different retailer, there is a little small markup. You might be better off that way if you have to just buy one or two things. But for me, I usually place an order once I have enough stuff to reach the 65 euros shipping. Lethal Cosmetics has other products as well. They have just launched face palettes with blushes, bronzer, contour. They had highlighters before. They have lip products as well, but I have not tried those yet. I find the price point quite normal for an indie brand, but a bit on the high side for me to just try out, and yeah, I haven't yet. Nothing really struck me. It was more to try the formula, so I did a very good job at keeping myself, I don't know, responsible and not buying everything that I want to try. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let me know which one are your favorite shades and maybe if I'm missing any. This is also in view of their Black Friday sale coming up. They usually always do, I want to say, at least 10-15% off, but some shades are discounted even more, and you have the opportunity to use their palette builder, which is always a lot of fun to do. So without further ado, let's get into the swatches. Here are all of my Lethal Cosmetics eyeshadows. I have 53 of them, and I have them divided in their own palettes and then the extras in these palettes right here. I thought I didn't need more of their own because they're quite small for only 12 pans, but I cannot also, there's so many that I cannot fit them in another, for example, of these big Z palettes. So for now, this is how I'm storing them. Maybe not ideal, but this is also how I'm gonna swatch them, probably starting from the neutrals and going through my colorful eyeshadows. I'm going to compare them to their own brand, because if I had to go and compare each eyeshadow to all of the shadows that I have in my collection, we'd be here for ages. So let's get started. We have the first three neutral shades. This is Ephimeral. It's a matte transition shade. It's a little bit darker than my skin tone and quite a warm tone. Works well. Kind of didn't need it. It's one of these shades that I don't really need from Lethal Cosmetics. I have in other brands, but I think I needed it to reach free shipping or something like that. Then we have Symbiosis, which is a beautiful shimmer. It is so intense. I really like their shimmer formula. It's really shiny. I hope this light helps a little bit. And then the first of the oranges, which is the shade Torment, which is a matte light orange. I do like Lethal Cosmetics for their
bright, colorful shades, of course. So that is what I like them for. If I didn't mention it already, this is a clean hand and I'm swatching without a primer and my fingers are dry. I clean my fingers in between with a wet wipe and then dry them on a towel so that I don't swatch wet. Next up we have Spawn, which is a beautiful burnt orange, works really well, is extremely pigmented, and it does give, as you can see, a little bit of kick up in the pan. Then we have Defiance, one of my favorites from them. It's again a burnt orange shimmer, but it has a touch of red in it, a touch of rust that I think is really, really pretty. It doesn't make it very flat. All of their shimmers are quite interesting. They're not flat. And finally, Catatonic, which is a, I don't know, mid-toned brown. It is warm, it works well. Nothing to complain about here. Not necessarily a shade you need from them again, as I said, but it's very pretty and it works well. Next round up is the Mauve tones, and I start with Imago, which is a beautiful, quite unique grayish purple but warm tone. I really like it. It's unique in my collection. Then we have Euphoria, which is a beautiful shimmer, again with a more berry base but with a little bit of a copper component to it, which I think is really beautiful. And finally Trespass, which is a beautiful deep burgundy shade. I love this trio of shadows in itself. They do a very good job of being a look. I'm sorry, the last one was Franctic. Sorry. The last one was Franctic. And then the last two shades, which are the darkest one, are Trespass, which is more muted and a little bit more, dark, less red, and Nocturnal, which is a cool toned, almost neutral actually, brown. They all of these work very well also on the eyes. Now, if you see trouble with me swatching, that's just because it's mattes and I need to do a few more rounds. But this is a beautiful color story in itself already. I tried to give myself a little bit more light so that the swatches would look better, or you could see the swatches better. Here are the corals. This is Cycle. It's actually a pastel orange, really pretty. Should have shown it to you with the oranges, but it's the lightest of the oranges. But I want them to look together with, this is Quicksave, a little bit of a newer addition to the line. I think it was released in 2020 indeed. That is Quicksave. And then an oldie but a very beloved shade is Remission, which is right here, which is a little bit of an older formula. It's also a little bit drier. And it's similar to Quicksave, but Quicksave is a little bit more muted. In the pan, you can see that it looks a little bit darker also. And the difference on the eye though is not very big. So between the two, I would pick Quicksave because it is a little bit of a better formula, easier to use. And I don't know, I prefer the color of Quicksave. Next up, we have Backdraft, which is a beautiful bright pink with a bit of a warmer coppery shift. I hope you can see it. It's really, really pretty. And next one we have is Echo, which is, as you can see, much warmer of an orangey, I don't know, it still has a little bit of a pinkness to it, but it's definitely more corally, orangey red compared to Backdraft. Beautiful, both of them, and they're quite different enough to be justified having them. And finally, one of my favorite shades from Lethal Cosmetics, which is Fahrenheit. It is a very unique, muted, I don't know, what do you call these shades? It's not red because it has a touch of berry. It's not pink. Very beautiful. Definitely a recommendation. This is one of my favorite shades from them. Gorgeous. Next up we have the pinks, and I'm starting with the shimmery pink that I have, which is Arcade. It's a beautiful duochrome. It's really quite pink, with a beautiful, almost minty, bluey shift to it. This light is so difficult. Then we have Terminus, which is this mid-toned berry. Pretty. Use it a lot. These are some of my favorite berries that I own. It's quite pink but neutral. And then Cascade, which is more saturated, a little bit darker, more berry still. And all of these are very unique shades to my collection, and I just really, really like them. They really speak to me and they make my Lethal Cosmetics collection special. Then more favorites, Mainframe, which is a bit of a newer one in my collection. It has a magenta component to it, which makes it a little bit cooler toned, but very striking. Then we have Rebirth, which is the best purple smoky eye of life. Very, I don't know, grungy, beautiful, and shimmery metallic. Really, really nice. And finally, Unity, which is my favorite deep purple that I own. It works really well, and purples are difficult to make, so they did a really good job with the formula of this one. It's also a beautiful tone. Beautiful, beautiful tone. Then for the purples that are more purple, we start with Crossroads, which is a very light pinky lavender. Not really lavender, it's a light purpley pink. I barely use these shades. Next one is Enigma. Beautiful duochrome of a magenta base and like a more cooler toned purple or almost blue on top. Very pretty. You can see it looks pretty much purple on the skin, but it has a warmer, brighter fuchsia base. And then the shade Nightcall, which is a matte cool tone purple. I have not used this one before. It was part of my last order, and I barely use purple, so I don't know why. Like all of these I barely used. I've used Enigma more because it's a little bit more of a interesting shifty shade, but I've barely used these. Next purples coming up are Spirit, which is one of their best sellers, and I understand why. Look at the tone of that purple. It's like a witchy purple. Very beautiful. I barely use it, but it's very beautiful. Then the shade Synth is one of their newer ones. It has a lavender base and like a teal blue shift on top. It's very pretty. I don't have anything like it, but again, something I barely wear. I should actually just make a look with this palette and just use these more. It's a pity. They're beautiful. Next one is Release, which is maybe one of my only regrets on this, on the shades from Lethal Cosmetics, because it's a very dusty, grayish purple. I never ever would use this, and yeah, if I had to declutter something, it would be this one, together with the neutral matte, the first one that I showed you. Because it's pointless. But these are my purples. I barely use them. They usually hang out in a little palette like this out of the way because I never use them. But that also means I forget about them, so that's a pity. Now on to my favorite palette that I keep from them, which is the greens and the yellows. Let's start with the yellows. The first one is Vertigo, and it is a light yellow shimmer with a lot of texture, as you can see. I hope it's quite pretty, light. Next up is Helios, which is a pastel yellow. I actually really like this one in summer. It's a bit different than my other yellows. It's not so punchy, it's a lighter version. You can build it up quite nicely on the eyes. And then they did finally bring out a more punchy, darker yellow, which is Daybreak. Actually, they don't look so different in the swatches, but you can see in the pan that there's quite a difference. You probably don't need both. I would get Daybreak because it shows up more and it's more, it's darker, it's more pigmented. But if you're looking for like a pastel yellow, that's a great option. Then for the deeper yellow, this is Equinox, and it's a beautiful sunshine yellow shimmer. Really nice. And then we can move into the like murkier greens, grungier greens, which are Recluse. It shows up on the skin much less green than it does in the pan. And that is just the way the shadow is, and that's why I also wanted it on this line. Let's say it feels like a natural continuation. And finally Syncope, which is a newer shade to their line and also to my collection, and I've talked about it a lot in the last few dupe palettes. It's a nice deeper murky green, really good addition to their collection. They needed it, and this looks so beautiful. I really like this this color story. Here are some of the more unique greens that they have. This is the shade Relapse, which is a beautiful acid green. It's quite delicate though. I had to repress mine in the pan because it had come off. Then we have Void, which is a much cooler green. You can see the difference. They're both pastels, they're both unique, work really well. Happy to have them in my collection. Not the ones that I use the most, I think, but very pretty. And then a big favorite of mine is Vertex. This is a beautiful green shimmer. It's like an apple green shimmer. Gorgeous. And I don't think it's showing up as pigmented on camera as it is in real life because of the lighting. But this is how it looks like. Very, very beautiful, very pigmented. One of my favorites from their collection. And more unique shades in my collection, actually, which is also important. Then we continue with 3 mattes. The first one is a Replica, which is a little bit warmer, more neutral than Void. I think you can really see the difference on the undertone. This is more yellow, this is more blue, and this is like more true green of an undertone. Still a light green, really nice. I like it better than the other two. It suits me better. I can use it more easily in green looks. Then we have Habitat, which is a medium green, still a little bit warm. Really, really good. I really like that shade. Also quite unique in my collection. And Eden, which is a forest green, which you can see is a little bit more blue toned, but it's not teal yet. So that's why I keep it among my my greens, and you can actually deepen this up quite a bit. You can see it in action in my Blood Money tutorial. I use Eden a lot in my outer corner, so you can check that out in that video. Beautiful greens, really like them. I mean, just look at this color story, so pretty. Next up are the blues, and here is where I feel like the Lethal Cosmetics is a little bit repetitive, and now I'll show you why. This is Proxy, nice teal-y blue light pastel shade, and here is Yonder, which is a little bit greener. I grant that, but they are so similar. So similar. I don't need both. Like, I would keep Yonder because I like warmer teals or more green shades, but I don't need Proxy as well. Definitely not necessary. Then we have Mirage, which is a gorgeous shade. It's so, so beautiful. It's really like a puddle of water. So gorgeous. Then we have Venom, which is a little bit deeper, but again, very similar. Do you need both? Probably not. Pick one of the two, I would say. Next up is Lucid, which is a little bit of a different texture. It has some glitters in there, or like sparkles, that make it really, really beautiful in real life. It's a new shadow to me, and I am very, very happy to have it. I thought it would be too similar to the next one, which is Ether right here, but as you can see, Ether is quite a little bit flatter of a shimmer, more like a traditional shimmer, whereas Lucid is like this explosion of sparkle. It's really beautiful, and I do really like this color story. Of course, they're really, really my shades, so to say. Here we are at the final swatches. This is their matte white, which is Frequency. I have yet to try it on my eyes, guys, so I don't know what to say if it's a good matte white or not. I have yet to try it, but I wanted a matte white. They had it, so I got it. Another shade that is new to me is Surge, which is a sky blue. I don't think I have anything like this in my collection, and I was more of a completionist or trying to get free shipping type of purchase because I really don't see myself using this shade ever, but it's very pretty. And then we have Remedy, which is another, maybe a little bit, it should have probably been with the other ones as well, but it's more blue than any of the other two mattes that I showed you earlier, so that's why I wanted it here. This is Remedy. And the final two shades are the two blue shimmers that I have, that are Aerial, beautiful blue shimmer, and Equilibrium, which is a deeper ocean color. I love this. Together with Aerial, these were really shades that I wanted, and Ether, which I showed you earlier with the greens. Beautiful, beautiful shimmers, and again, not shades I use a lot. These up here, but these down here much more. I want to do a smoky eye with this guy. Again, I'm missing something here, like a deep blue, a navy, or like a deeper version of Equilibrium. So here they are. This is my full Lethal Cosmetics collection swatched. I hope you enjoyed this video and it will help you if you want to make a purchase for Black Friday, and it will help you make a choice. Let me know if you have any questions or comparison swatches requests in the comments, in the box in the comments down below. And I'll be happy to answer. Overall, I think you can be sure you get a good eyeshadow from these ones. I wish they came in a round pan, of course, because then I could fit them in the rest of my palettes. But for now, I store them like this. I have a lot of them. I wish I could find like a very big, maybe I'll buy an Adept Cosmetics palette to fit them all. But you know, my collection is always and forever increasing. And I have to say, for me, I am quite happy with what I had, with what I have, and I don't need to be purchasing more during the Black Friday sale because they haven't released any shadows since my last purchase. So I'll be waiting for a new eyeshadow collection before I purchase anything, and the way I usually do is I buy a palette and that brings me to around 50 euros. Then I buy a few singles outside of the palette and I add a influencer affiliate code for another 10% off, and that usually brings me to the 65 euros of free shipping that I need. And yeah, that's that, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Let me know if you like this type of collection swatch videos. It's a bit different with the camera on top of me, and the lights is not perfect because my window is that direction. So I hope this was okay. If not, let me know. Constructive criticism is welcome. Don't be mean, as usual. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!